Sunny is one of the 5 dragonets of destiny, the dragons who have been slated to end the war that's been happening for 20 years, the War of Sibling Secession. The dragonets grew up sequestered in a cave, causing them to grow sibling-like bonds despite their separate tribes. Eventually, they fulfilled a prophecy. That's not true, however. The prophecy is false, made up by the scheming Moral Seer to try and secure a new home for the doomed Nightwing tribe. But they do manage to fulfill the prophecy anyways, thanks to Sunny. Even when everyone gave up, she was still searching for solutions. It's such a shame that Sunny's existence makes another thing I just said a lie. The dragonets do not have a sibling-like bond. They don't even act like siblings at all, and I feel like Sunny proves that. She's consistently infantilized and not taken seriously by the dragons she is supposed to consider her siblings. Hi, I'm Rogan, and welcome back to me seeing how many hot opinions I can make before the rest of the fanwings decide to kick me out for ruining their fun. If you are unfamiliar with this channel, I recommend subscribing. I post Wings of Fire and Warrior Cats animations 2 to 3 times every single week. Thank you to the current subscribers for the support you provide to me already. I couldn't thank you enough. This video is not only going to prove that the Dragonets of Destiny are pretty mean to Sunny, but also just me raving about Sunny in general. Because I hate to admit it, actually I don't hate to admit it, she's my favorite character. Blue is my least favorite, Sunny is my favorite, and that's because of what they do with the pity they receive from others. Anyways, without further ado, let's begin. The main cause of the rift between Sunny and the others is that among the Dragonets of Destiny, Sunny is the only one who thinks positively of the Guardians. She is one of the only ones who shows an emotional connection to Dune dying and to Kestrel's death too in the later books. After the Dragonets get captured in Book 1, Sunny befriends the Skywing Guards at the palace, which Prill describes as, and I quote from the wiki, disgusting, unnerving, and unnatural. In the brightest night, after a long chain of kidnappings, starting with her escaping and taunting a few poor Nightwings, she ends up with Smolder, who she befriends and makes friends with his pet scavenger. Making friends with a scavenger establishes a connection between the two. Not many dragons wouldn't eat a scavenger, so Smolder lighting flower around her is showing a level of mutual trust, something that can be exploited. During a raid, a scout called Campbell is charged with taking care of her. However, Sunny convinces him to flee because he has unhatched eggs waiting at home, so she manages to escape. Sunny's relationship with the Guardians and all other captors mentioned is similar to that exhibited by victims of kidnapping, which Sunny is. Let me make this clear, this is not Stockholm Syndrome. That disorder has been proven to have no scientific basis at all, and it isn't even in the DSM. In the actual Stockholm incident, the victims aligned with the captors because the police weren't being cruel and callous, ready to sacrifice the victims because they wouldn't bargain with the captors. They were ready to let the victims die because they didn't want to give the captors like a couple million. So the victims thought their best chance of survival would be with the captors. In this kidnapping, they tried to humanize themselves to their captors in order to gain their trust and possibly escape. This is very similar to Sunny's behavior most of the time she's been captured in the series. Her using the Nightwing superstitions, Smolder's love of scavengers, and Campbell's family as a chance to create a connection for eventual or imminent escape is a definite survival strategy from Sunny, and it requires a lot of foresight and intellect in order to keep it up and not raise suspicions. Being raised in a closed environment with nowhere to hide and no privacy, conflict is bound to occur. Despite what 2B does to try to make the DoD feel like siblings, I feel like the same bond never did develop in them. Sunny's unique relationship to the Guardians isolated her to the others. Due to an overshoot in her trying to get the Guardians' trust by exposing an escape plan, the other Dragonets no longer trust her. This was years ago, as evidenced by the fact that the plan was being able to escape through the narrow sky hole, which no dragon can escape through now. Despite the age of her transgressions, with her practically being a toddler at the time likely, the other Dragonets still act spitefully towards her and dismiss her ideas. The other Dragonets also have this idea of her being naive by trusting the Guardians, so they don't really take her seriously. As we've established, her trusting the Guardians is not being naive. She doesn't really trust the Guardians, she just wants to know their weaknesses so she can exploit them and possibly escape. In Book 4, when Glory prepares to invade the Night Island, the Dragonets and the Rainwing advisors gather to propose plans. Throughout this meeting, Sunny attempts to propose a plan of using paralyzing blow darts. However, she is ignored until she gets fed up and finally has Clay propose her idea of using the paralyzing blow darts for her, and they accept it. If Sunny had said it herself, she would of course be rejected. Her plan would have been called ridiculous, of course, just like what happened to her plans in the Dragonet prophecy when they were planning on escaping. I'm sorry I didn't mention that earlier. But since Clay said it, it's the best thing since sliced spread. Now, the rest of this video will be solely dedicated to dissecting Book 5. Since it is Sunny's book, it provides an excellent perspective into her worldview. Starting off in the book, Sunny gets kidnapped by Strongwing's fierce teeth prey hunter, who are a few Nightwings who don't like glory. Using an enchanted Nightwing object, they spy on the Dragonets of Destiny to see if they can use her for a ransom. Here's what they have to say. Why is she upset? Glory asked. That slime lizard Moros here. He told us that the prophecy is fake. He made it all up as part of the plan for Nightwings to take over the rainforest. What? Glory exploded. Yeah, Clay said. Isn't that crazy? I guess that's why Morosier wanted to choose Blister as the next queen. He had this whole, I'm gonna bite that dragon's head off and stuff it into a volcano, Glory roared. Too late, Tsunami said, since that's kind of what already happened. The volcano part, I mean. He's just a pile of ashes now. Are you serious? Glory demanded, talking over her. The whole thing was made up. And then let's skip down a tiny bit more to, at least we don't have to worry about it anymore, Tsunami pointed out. No destiny means we can do whatever we want. The Talons of Peace can go and shove a pufferfish up their noses. But Sunny was really upset, Clay said. She was always kind of excited about the prophecy. Kind of excited? Sunny lashed her tail. It wasn't just some fun adventure I was looking forward to, Clay. Oh, Sunny will be fine, Tsunami said. You know her. She's always happy about everything. By tomorrow she'll be smiling again, and by next week she probably won't even remember the prophecy. She needs something new to care about, just like making Starflight better. And then it goes on for a bit, and Fierce Teeth says, not too impressed with their intelligence, are they? Sunny scowled back at her. It sounds like they do like her, Strongwing says dubiously, but they do not think that she's particularly useful or important. I'm sure that they'll give us to her. I'm not sure they will give the rainforest in exchange for her. I agree with Strongwings here. It looks like they like her, but in reality, they like the version of her that they have in their heads. The other Dragonets do not see the real version of Sunny. The Dragonets are continuing to downplay Sunny's emotional intelligence in this chapter, and are acting like she has the memory capacity of a goldfish. You think that maybe Glory in particular would stand up for Sunny, with her being underestimated by the Guardians and others constantly? However, she doesn't. Even Clay, who has spoken up for Sunny in the past, joins in, saying that she would just be really upset about the prophecy. Of course she would be upset. She spent the first 7 years of her life in a cave and didn't know her family due to this prophecy. She has the right to be if it's all for nothing. On the next page, Sunny also thinks, what would they do to get me back? Anything, or will they figure, hey, she'll be fine as a hostage? And remember, she's always happy about everything. And that should be perfectly distracting for her. Perfect. Well, perhaps I'll rescue myself then. That'll show them. And then I'll fulfill the prophecy all by myself, and they'll see that it was real all along. She knew that this was exactly the kind of thing her friends would roll their eyes at for her for saying. But no one else cared about their destiny anymore. If she was the only Dragonet who believed in it, what was she supposed to do? Sunny manages to escape her captors, and then she decides to follow them to see where they end up. She then decides to steal the animus objects the Nightwings used and thinks this was one of those ideas that Sunny's friends would totally ignore if she suggested it, but would love it like crazy if it came from Tsunami or Clay. It was also something they would never ever let her do herself. Too dangerous, too risky, send in a dragon with fighting skills or camouflage skills. Not their undersized, cheerful, silly little sister. Well, I'm the only one here, and I know I can do it. This idea has certainly been proven before, as she's had to get Clay to speak up for ideas and everyone wanted to do it, but if they had heard it from her, they wouldn't have done it. After she steals the animus object, she fakes a message from Darkstalker, whom she has heard from Prey Hunter that they are fearful of, and threatens them using Darkstalker. This is once again her taking advantage of her captors or former captors' weakness. This time it was their superstition that she used. I feel like since Sunny, one of the most empathetic dragons in the entire Wings of Fire series, who always tries to find the good in others, doesn't think that others take her seriously, it's clear those other dragons don't take her seriously. Sunny sounds more than frustrated in those passages because this has been happening her entire life. She's just been a little sister to all of them despite them being the same age and has never been taken seriously. Only now that she's had time away from them does she truly realize how smart she is and how messed up their relationship is. When Sunny goes to return to her rainforest at the end of the book, she actually begins to dread reuniting with her friends, fearing that they'll be condescending towards her again. And of course they are. Glory even gets mad that she had to send out search parties for Sunny. Glory, that's the bare minimum. This is your supposed sister we're talking about here. You know there's Nightwings roaming the forest with the intent of murder. Deathbringer stopped 2 of them at this point according to himself. So maybe be a tiny bit more lenient? Even after Sunny tells them about her misadventures and they all agree to solve the prophecy, she's spoken over and her idea gets warped by the other dragonets of destiny, as they try and make it into murdering 2 candidates and electing the 3rd, instead of the peaceful resolution she initially offered. In the end, there was no resolution for the relationship between Sunny and the other dragonets of destiny. They changed slightly, but they never apologized for condescending and acting like she was younger and less mature than all of them. Overall, it's ironic that first arc, which has such a strong focus on found family, ends up with one of the most estranged relationships in the entire series. Thank you all for watching. I changed up some things and read out the pages I was showing on screen for the people who are listening to this in another tab while drawing or playing video games. If you are one of those people, please tell me what you think of this idea. Does it make the video too long? I know it's at like 12 minutes already with raw footage. It's probably shorter for you, but just tell me if you think it's too long. If you like this video, subscribe. It means a lot to me. I thank my current subscribers too for their continued support. It also means a lot to me to just know people have my back. Peace, Rogan out.